Well, like I'm saying in the title, you simply are not bullish enough. If you thought yesterday was a big move for the markets, well, guess what? The next big one is loading right now, and it's going to come out of Ethereum as well as the rest of the altcoin market. Don't believe me? I'm going to break down some key things that you guys might have missed over the last 24 hours. And yes, everyone's going to tell you, oh, well, 2-bit, the market came down. ETH was down about 1.7% yesterday. That's true. It was up 15% the day before, and it's about to do it again. Right, with that being said, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Remember, every day we are pumping your bags here on the Tribute Crypto channel. So let's get into it. Now, many of you will know who this is. This is Tom Lee. He is obviously the CEO, the mastermind behind BitMine and a big Ethereum treasury company. Now, if you cast your mind back a while, I was talking about how Ethereum is going to be the big one to watch for this market. It is going to signal that altcoins are on the move. Well, guess what? Not only does Tom Lee think we're going to over $300,000 for Bitcoin this year, he is also hedging his bets on at least a $19,000 Ethereum. Let's get it, Tom Lee. I am dialed in for that. He is in fact so bullish on Ethereum that he once again bought even more today. $45 million worth of Ethereum purchased today, which again is a big deal. And he continues to buy Ethereum more than we've ever seen. In fact, they are outpacing a lot of the traditional markets right now. And a lot of people are kind of like, oh, 2-bit, Bitcoin's going to the moon, etc. That's true. The reality is, though, Ethereum is the one to watch. And this moved the market aggressively on the back of obviously Jerome Powell and that news coming out of Jackson Hole. So very bullish indeed. But this is not all. We actually are now starting to see the Ethereum treasury company skyrocket. Everyone is getting involved. And more importantly, we are seeing purchase after purchase. So this is going to drive altcoins up. And in fact, in my opinion, is going to continue to spike the price of Bitcoin. So much so that our good friend here, Eric Trump, is now predicting Bitcoin will surpass $175,000 this year and calls himself a Bitcoin maxi. The reality is you have to be a true Bitcoin maxi, and that's Max Kaiser, who thinks we're going to over $700,000 this market. Wherever he gets them numbers from, I've no idea, but hey, Max, I'm down for it. So how do you kind of get to these numbers, and where do we see this going? You've got massive amounts of Ethereum purchasing going in. Bitcoin's still holding up pretty well. Well, the reality is this is the reason that we are starting to see this move. And by the way, every freaking thing is built on Ethereum, which I've been telling you for months. The tokenized treasury sector surpassed a July high, setting a brand new record. And it's funny, isn't it? No one's talking about this. The total value locked in tokenized US treasuries has climbed back to its peak, hitting around $7.42 billion on August 23rd, slightly above the previous record of $7.41 billion set on July 16th. Okay, well, let's unpack this a little bit. And this is why I think if you are dialed in on altcoins, you are holding your altcoin bags, yes, there's probably going to be some volatility. Yes, we're probably going to see ETH drop back to around 4,400. But in the long term, it's going to get pretty crazy. So look at this. Latest figures from RWA shows a graph about 1.4% from a week ago. Tokenized bond products continue to attract investors seeking on-chain exposure to government-backed assets. This is why Ondo is about to go crazy. This is why the stablecoin market's going to go crazy. And this is why, in fact, Ethereum is going crazy. And the actual chain itself is going to be very much flooded. You've obviously got BUIDL over there as well, which is obviously to do with BlackRock. And more importantly, there is big companies like Wisdom Tree's Government Money Market Digital Fund and much more. By the way, these are in like the hundreds of millions of dollars. So you have got right now an enormous exposure on Ethereum for US government treasuries. In fact, the freaking US government's wallet took some Ethereum the other day. Now, I'm not saying that that's a reason, but let me tell you, that's a reason for me to be bullish. So again, ETH is driving it. ETHzilla is now planning to buy over $10 billion with Clear Street, again, to accumulate even more Ethereum. They're now Ethereum Reserve company starting to get super bullish. And this obviously all on the back of Powell signaling the return to traditional inflation target. Now, I sort of touched on this the other day as to why this is going to be important and why I think now you are just going to see a moon mission. We're going to get cuts in September. We're going to get cuts in October. December, we're going to come in. I still haven't let myself go into 2026 yet, but look, this is kind of getting crazy. He said that they are abandoning the 2% average inflation target, and actually they're just going to measure it over the course of a set denomination. That means that they can kind of go to 2.1 and it's kind of going to be fine. 3%, not a problem. We might be at 1%. This is going to create very optimistic markets, and in my opinion, is going to be very bullish for. But that's not all. As if that wasn't enough for you guys to be like, oh my God, 2-bit, the market's about to go insane, like you've been saying for the last few months. World Liberty Finance now launching on Ethereum with its token unlock as well. So this is pretty big. Now, obviously, you guys know WLFI, and now the project launching on the Ethereum on September 1st with 20% of the pre-sale tokens available for early participants. Now, here's just my view, by the way. Please be cautious on this. It's going to pump, it's going to dump. If there's 20% of those to pre-salers, understand how much is going to go into the actual liquidity pot, what's going to be put into the market. Remember, pump fund, disaster. Kanye's coin, disaster. Melania coin, disaster. Now, this is slightly different in the fact that it does have capital behind it, but please watch out. But this is obviously another big move, and it's all, yet again, built on the Ethereum chain. Hard to believe that Ethereum's still under $5,000. That's right, but it won't be for very long. Yes, like I said, we're probably going to see a pullback. September is predicted to be bearish, not when Jerome Powell has his way. But if you are not dialed in, you're simply going to miss out. Best way to stay dialed in, join my free Discord, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button on this channel. We're covering all the latest meme coins on Ethereum. We're covering all the latest news. I'm working my socks off for you guys to make sure that your portfolios are absolutely skyrocketing this bull market. So again, hit that subscribe button. You know how it is. Right, guys, I'm out of here. Look out for some more content soon, and I'll see you in a bit. Ta-ra.